So I have done a ton of turkeys over the last 3 years, and I just got a question on one of my turkey videos asking what my thoughts were on dry brining a turkey. And I really didn't have an answer for it because I've never dry brined a turkey, but we're going to handle that in this video today. Now, since I didn't know much about it, I did a little bit of research online, and in the description below there's going to be a link to where I got most of my information to dry brine this turkey. So click on that link down there and it's going to pretty much spell out everything for you. I did take a few notes on this when I was looking at the website, and what we have here is I have about a 20-pound turkey, just slightly under 20 pounds. We're going to need a tablespoon of kosher salt per every 5 pounds. So I've got that measured out. A half teaspoon of whatever dried herbs you want to use. I have that measured out. And what I'm using is an herb which I use on all my turkeys called Herb de Provence. Now you can buy this in your grocery store. The McCormick's brand is usually readily available. I happened to be at Home Goods last week, and they had this big old jar on sale for $4.99, which is a tremendous value. So pick this stuff up. And we also needed a quarter teaspoon of pepper per 5 pounds. I have that measured out. Really all that we need to do is we need to just mix all this stuff up together. Another thing that we're going to be doing in this during this recipe is we're going to be making our own injection. Now I happen to be happy with the Tony Chachere's injection, but a subscriber of mine that goes by the name of 4 Seasons Barbecue gave me an injection recipe, which we're going to get to down the road. When I was doing my research on this dry brine, one of the things that they were saying was to kind of come under the skin and lift the skin up from the turkey. This particular turkey right here has really tight skin, and since I am doing this video primarily for Thanksgiving turkeys, I really don't want to risk tearing that skin, because once you tear it, it's a wrap, and your turkey just is not going to look as good. And if you're cooking a turkey for Thanksgiving, appearance is probably 50% of what you're looking for when it comes to the turkey. So rather than lifting up the skin, and I tried to do it, I could come about a quarter of the way up before I thought the skin was going to tear. We're just going to use, you can use a toothpick, a skewer, a fork. A fork might tear the skin, which is why I'm going with something a little more pointy. I'm just going to hit this turkey all over the turkey and on the bottom side. I'm going to do most of this off camera. Now that we have the holes poked into our turkey, we're going to go ahead and season it. Now when we're done seasoning it, I'm going to take it out of this pan that I have here, and I'm going to put it on a pan that's going to kind of raise it up a little bit so there's a little bit more circulation in it. And since we aren't lifting up the skin and putting all the seasoning under the skin, this is going to have a chance to dry brine in our refrigerator for 4 days. So let's go ahead and season this up. We're also going to get inside this cavity. And we're also going to get the bottom side as well. So now that we have this seasoned up, I am going to go ahead and move this onto my broiler pan. And this is going to go in our refrigerator 4 days. See you back in 4 days, hopefully with a new haircut. So I almost forgot that I had an injection to make in this recipe. So for this injection, what we're going to do is we're going to take 4 sticks of butter, which is a pound. We're going to go ahead and throw that in a pot. And he's saying use 1 clove of garlic, which is minced. Rosemary, the fresher the better. This happens to be fresh rosemary here, which I have frozen. We're going to put this in, and I'll go ahead and do the rest of these off camera. We have some thyme as well. This is fresh thyme that we're going to throw in. As far as sage goes, I could not find any fresh sage at my Asian market, and they're the only ones that have that is a really good value on it. So I'm just going to use this bottled up ground sage, and I'm going to go with about a half a tablespoon. And we're gonna go with Mexican oregano. Didn't see any oregano at my Asian market either. And this could be whatever herbs you like. At least that's what I'm getting from this. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna throw this on the oven or throw it on the stove. We're gonna cook it for 15 minutes. We're gonna let it cool down. And this is gonna have a chance to sit in the refrigerator with that turkey for 4 days, getting all that flavor mixed in. So here's our turkey. It's been dry brining for 4 days. That is 1 day for every 5 pounds. Then we have our butter here, which has been just sitting with those herbs in it. We're about to heat that up. As far as what we're going to stuff our turkey with, just random herbs and vegetables that we had laying around. So we have some rosemary, lemons, celery, some garlic back there. We're going to leave the peels on that. Doesn't matter if the peel's on it or not. And then we have some onion. What I'm going to do is heat this butter up, get that melted, then we're going to strain it and get on with cooking this turkey. So now that we have our butter heated up and melted, we're going to go ahead and strain this out. Now what I have is a strainer with a paper towel in it. What this is going to do is it's not only going to strain out all the stuff that we don't want, it's going to actually clarify the butter as well. So let's go ahead and get that started. This is almost done. What I'm going to do is pour that injection into a cup, and we're going to go ahead and get this injected. And when it comes to these injectors, I happen to be using one from Tony Chachere's that I had left over from one of their injections. If you don't have one and you don't use a lot of injectors, just go to Dollar Tree. I believe they have them there for $1, obviously. Now we're just going to kind of come in and we're going to hit it about every 1/8 of an inch. Now one thing I can tell you about this injection is it does seem to be a little bit thinner than like a normal Tony Chachere's injection. I'm getting a lot more leaking out than I normally would, so we're gonna have to see how that turns out when the turkey's cooked. But I'm going to try to get all of this in there. So like I said, that's about 1 pound of butter. So if we strained it out, we're probably going to be at about 3/4 of a pound of butter. I am getting these thighs and legs as well. I'm not going to worry about the wings. Since we're not cooking at a high temperature, and even if we were, since this is clarified butter, it's not going to like super darken up your turkey. I'm just going to go ahead and pour the rest of this over the turkey just so I'm not wasting it. Our oven's already at 375 degrees. And I'm going to cook this until you'd be good to go at 165 degrees. I'm going to take this to about 168 degrees internal temperature. We're going to check it one time in about another 1.5 hours just to make sure it's not getting too dark. So we'll see you then. So we are 2 hours in on this turkey, and I just wanted to pull it out and test it for temperature. It does have some nice color on it. I'm really happy with that. So I'm assuming that we're probably going to be needing to go about another hour or so. Yeah, it looks like we're around 120. 125, so I'm happy with this color. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm not going to wrap the tips. I'm not going to do anything like that. We're just going to go ahead and let this roll until we get to 167, 168 degrees. So here we go, right out of the oven, 170 degrees. This took 2 hours and 54 minutes exact. Anyway, I'm going to make this look good. Take a picture and see if this tastes as good as it looks and smells. So that's what it looked like all plated up. I'm telling you, it looks good. It smells good. Can't wait to get into my first dry brine turkey with this injection. So without further ado, let's go ahead and cut into this. Just gonna cut off a few slices from here. Here's what we're looking like. You know what? I'm gonna not even touch that until we do the taste test. I wanna do that live. All right, let's get into it. See what we think about this dry brine with this new injection. Okay. All right, so I got some skin and some skin on this. This right here might be something that I continue to do. Now, I do like my other turkeys as well. Sometimes you gotta change them up. What I like about this dry brine thing, the skin is still crispier than those turkeys that I cook at 400 degrees. You know, as far as the flavor of the turkey, even when I just do plain saltwater brines, this seems to penetrate it deeper into the turkey. I could eat all this. Let me stop. It seemed to penetrate deeper into the turkey, letting it dry brine for those 4 days. The injection is almost, it's not as strong of a flavor as like the Tony Chachere's would be, which I still like Tony Chachere's and will continue using them, but I will be using this injection as well. It's just more subtle. It's just a more subtle, earthy kind of injection. You get a lot of that sage, rosemary, all that. Anyway, I'm not going to hold you guys up. You probably still want to check out a bunch of turkey recipes. I do want to thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.